Welcome back to Paranormal Resident. In today's video, we take a look back at 5 devastating plagues throughout history. Before we start, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, all linked down below. Here we go. Number 1. The Black Death. In 1347, a viral strain of plague invaded Europe from the east, most likely via Italian sailors returning home from Crimea. This Black Death would eventually spend half a decade tearing across the continent. Medieval physicians tried to combat the disease using bloodletting, lancing and other crude techniques, but with little understanding of its cause, most fell back on the belief that it was a divine punishment for their sins. The Black Death finally subsided in 1353, but not before it killed as many as 50 million people, more than half the population of Europe. Number 2. The Great Plague of London. The Great Plague of London occurred during the 16th and 17th centuries, most famously between 1665 and 1666. It first appeared in the suburb of St Giles in the Fields, but it soon travelled into the cramped and filthy neighbourhoods of the city proper. At its peak, it was killing 8,000 people each week. The plague was caused by a bacteria which is usually transmitted through the bite of an infected rat flea. As the sickness spread, London's authorities tried to contain the infected by quarantining them in their homes, which were marked with a red cross. Somewhere between 75,000 and 100,000 people eventually perished before the outbreak died down in 1666. Number 3. The Spanish Flu. The Spanish flu was an unusually deadly influenza pandemic, lasting from January 1918 to December 1920. It infected over 500 million people. It was caused by the H1N1 virus with genes of avian origin. The high mortality rate in healthy people, including those in the 20 and 40 year age group, was a unique feature of this pandemic. The number of deaths is estimated to be at least 50 million people worldwide, with about 675,000 occurring in the United States. The 1918 H1N1 flu virus caused the deadliest pandemic of the 20th century. Number 4. HIV/AIDS pandemic. First identified in the Democratic Republic of the Congo in 1976, HIV has truly proven itself as a global pandemic, killing more than 36 million people since 1981. Currently, there are between 31 and 35 million people living with HIV. The vast majority of those are in Africa, where 5% of the population is infected, roughly 21 million people. As awareness has grown, new treatments have been developed that make HIV far more manageable, and many of those infected go on to lead productive lives. Number 5. COVID-19 Coronavirus Pandemic 2020. We are all living through an historic pandemic. So far, coronavirus cases 1,014,296. Deaths 52,982. Recovered 212,018. COVID-19 so far has infected 204 countries. The new virus and disease were unknown before the outbreak began in Wuhan, China in December 2019. Scientists have not reached consensus on the cause or origin of the coronavirus, but many believe it was from the pangolin and bats. COVID-19 is a virus that causes respiratory illness like the flu, with symptoms such as a cough, fever, and in more severe cases, difficulty breathing. You can protect yourself by washing your hands frequently, avoiding touching your face, and avoiding close contact. Many of us are coming to terms with the fact that we are living through an historic pandemic. It's hard to believe that it is happening to us right now. With all the advances in modern medicine, many of us thought we were immune from the next pandemic. It was always going to happen. It was only a matter of when and how. Many of us are on lockdown and at home. All day we hear these numbers, the number of cases, the number of deaths. But we need to remember 51,000 people have died. 51,000 families have lost someone they love. We need to remember that there are faces behind these numbers, and we need to act now. Hashtag stay at home. The lucky ones will be able to tell our children and grandchildren of the days when we were on lockdown in 2020, living through COVID-19. You have been watching Paranormal Resident. If you could, please like and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all linked down below. And until next time, hashtag stay at home.